Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. As you already know, I'm always delighted to be joined by my good friend, Mr. Muscles himself, Billy Nelson. Billy, you're just back from Iceland, Dubai. I can't keep up. You're a global, like, you're what's a jet setter? You're more of a jet setter than me. You're all over the place, man.
No more than you, and you must have some air miles, pal.
Well, listen, I'm always pumped up the business class, so I'm getting there. Yeah, well, Billy, let's just get straight to the point, man. Obviously, I like to get your views on a big heavyweight fight and stuff like that, because you say it how it is, and it's always good to get your opinion. Now, I know you've got your own heavyweight, Mark McCauley, and you can probably say Thor as well, and they're a big Thor, the world's strongest man. But last night, AJ versus Usyk, man, what a performance from Usyk. Just break down that fight for me and what your thoughts were after the fight.
Well, I thought it was a masterclass by Usyk. His movement was exceptional. Speed of feet, speed of hand. His left hand was still lightning in the last round. I think he went out there last night and proved a point to world boxing that he is good enough to be a top heavyweight, and he proved it last night emphatically.
Were you surprised that Usyk kept that sort of pace for the full 12 rounds? Now, we can see some fighters, I mean, the discipline as well can fade after 12 rounds of fighting. I said to somebody, when people asked my opinion, I was like, can Usyk avoid AJ's right hand and AJ's power for 12 rounds? I was like, if he does, then that is a game plan and discipline, and that's everything that Usyk's got. But were you surprised at the way Usyk maintained that discipline for the full 12 rounds to stay away from Joshua's right hand?
No, I wasn't surprised his discipline whatsoever. You don't become the elite fighter that he is without having discipline in your performance. But what I would say is the way Anthony boxed helped his performance. Anytime Anthony landed some punches, he never stepped in and try to shorten the distance, and try to put weight on him, work inside, slow his legs in. He hardly worked to the body. I mean, if I was fighting Usyk, I would certainly have my fight attacking that body to slow their legs in. You take away his legs, you take away his movement, and then the bigger guy should theoretically better capitalise on bullying him a wee bit.
Did you think it was the right game plan then, Billy?
I struggled to find a game plan for Anthony last night, and several times when the camera went into the corner, too many voices in the corner in his ear. It should be Rob McCracken, only Rob McCracken. That's just my opinion. I mean, I wouldn't be having that in the corner if it was me. But for a start, there's no three coaches in with any of my fighters anyway, which I'm a great believer in. Too many cooks spoil the broth. If you get three people's opinions in your ear, what one are you going to go with? Mm-hmm. It should have been Rob McCracken was the person that you should be listening to. He's the most experienced coach out of the three of them, and he's also been a top-level professional boxer.
Yep.
And it just wasn't there last night for Anthony, unfortunately. He was very lucky not to get stopped in the last round as well, which would have been icing on the cake for Usyk, wouldn't have?
Especially, it was only 10 seconds to go, but there was I don't know if you noticed, seen the bit thing, but it was 10 seconds to go, but they stopped it after 5 seconds. Did you see that? They stopped the round. It seemed like they stopped the round quite quick in the last round.
Oh, I never noticed that. I don't know.
It's all over Twitter, but again, the TV timer and the actual timekeeper always have different times.
You don't know what to go with. Right.
But back to Usyk then, I mean, for his third fight at heavyweight, a lot of people were thinking after this first fight and then the Chisora fight that he might not have the credentials, not the credentials, but he might not have the power, the strength, or anything like that to hurt any of the big guys. But he seemed to.
He done it last night, didn't he?
Exactly.
Listen, I maintained when he beat Chisora, he schooled Chisora. Anybody that thinks that fight was close doesn't know about boxing.
Yeah.
He absolutely gave. I mean, Chisora caused him more probably more problems than what Anthony did last night, with trying, at least attempting to close the distance down and bullying him and roughing him up. But over a period of time, Usyk got used to that and started putting his combinations together against Chisora and outboxed Chisora quite comfortably. I mean, you know, Chisora is what Chisora is. You know, he's a good fighter. He's been a great fighter, great career. But somebody like Usyk will beat him every day of the week with his movement and skill.
So the game plan? Do you think the game plan to beat somebody like Usyk, because obviously he's not the biggest heavyweight, but if you're coming in 20 pounds heavier, you've got the reach. Is the game plan to beat Usyk? Got on the front foot, bully him, pressure him, lie on him, sit on his chest, sort of stuff like that, go at the body. Is that the way to beat Usyk?
Yep. You need to be aggressive with him. Yes, you'll take some punches coming in on occasions, but you need to shorten the distance against Usyk and work to the body, uppercuts, body. I mean, many shots did AJ throw to the body last night. You could count in both hands, probably, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, he did throw a good. There was a two punch combination in the body. I thought maybe he's going to start picking this up and doing more body shots, but he didn't.
How do you see the rematch then? Obviously, Joshua, we've seen him against Ruiz, got the rematch straight off the bat, didn't want a warm-up fight, didn't want anything like that. He's talking about the rematch. He wants the rematch right now. How do you see the rematch going? Do you think Joshua can come up with a game plan?
Well, I think from what I'm reading online this morning, it looks as though Usyk wants to fight in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it is contracted it is to be back in England, but first and foremost, he's a mandatory challenger. Last night there should be no rematch clause, and it's shocking. Yeah. But I'll tell you what last night did tell me. There's absolutely no chance Anthony Joshua beats Tyson Fury now. Well,
that obviously people are comparing like the size of the way the movement of Tyson Fury is similar to what Usyk does.
Tyson Fury is Alexander Usyk, but bigger and stronger.
What I was going to say as well was Usyk's been on the road. You mentioned having the fight in the Ukraine. Usyk deserves that, right? Because his last 7 fights,
1,000,000%. He's won into every fight he had in that WBSS or whatever it's called, World Boxing Super Series. Every fight was on the road. Beat them all on the road. Beat Bellew on the road. Beat Chisora on the road.
Yeah,
gave him a fight that he thoroughly deserves in the Ukraine.
Well, that's he deserves it, doesn't he? But
100%.
The thing is,
I got a phone call this morning thanking us for our sparring sessions with from Team Usyk.
Big Martin Bacoli, big MB, big Martin Bacoli.
But listen, they didn't have nobody had to go their way to do that, did they?
No, definitely not. Well, let's talk about Martin then. I mean, he was out in Dubai, had a good fight in Dubai, obviously standard win against somebody like an opponent like that. But he called out Dillian Whyte. I mean, there's been no secret that you want the Chisora fight, you want the Dillian Whyte fight. So you're hoping for that next year, 2022?
Well, I don't know if either of them will have the grow up here and fight him, but I had a very, very good constructive meetings whilst we were out there, and we'll be fighting before the end of the year in December. Then again in hopefully March, and then June, July. So when they fight, and we'll be in a very strong position. See, unfortunately, with Martin being an African, he's always going to be on the B side. Mm-hmm. But we've no qualms about being the B. We don't care about that. Martin doesn't care about that. Mm-hmm. We believe we can beat any heavyweight on his night, and when on his A game, I believe Martin Bacoli beats anybody, right? And that's people say, oh shite, whatever. They can think what they want, but I've seen it firsthand. And until such times he gets himself in a position where he flips that B side onto the A side, and that's when people start wanting us. So I reckon we're 3 fights away from maybe doing that. And I think by the end of next year, God willing that we win all the fights, Martin will be fighting. His first fight in 23 would be for a world title, I believe.
No, definitely, man. I mean, like you've been going for this, you've been wanting the big fights for a long time now. So,
and you need 2 people to fight, Andy. You need 2 people to fight.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I want to go back to something you said there, just jumping script here a little bit. You did say that there's no way that Joshua beats Fury, and that Do you see that just you don't think that styles make fights and it'll be a different sort of fight, or do you think that Tyson?
Well, the way Tyson Fury fights, great jab, great movement, much longer reach than Usyk.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't see how AJ would beat him, to be perfectly honest, unless he landed somehow a big bomb.
Let's stay on that then. Fury versus Wilder's in a couple of weeks, in 2 weeks' time in Vegas. Can you see Wilder causing the upset?
The only way Tyson Fury gets beat if he becomes very complacent, and I don't believe his team around him will allow him to be complacent.
Yeah,
I can't see for the life of me how Wilder can turn that round. I think he can say all he wants, post all these videos of him hitting the pads. Pads don't hit you back, you know. When that first bell goes, I think the old bum will go, and he'll. I think Tyson Fury could potentially do what he says and walk right through him. I think he could stop him early in the last time.
Well, that's it. It's going to be a good fight. I think as British boxing fans, we wanted AJ to win selfishly, and we want Tyson Fury to win, obviously, in 2 weeks' time to get this. Do you think that fight's dead in the water now, or obviously we wanted an undisputed fight for all the belts, but that fight can still be made, surely?
Well, I'm going to ask you a question. Is it as attractive as what it was last night?
Maybe not with not all the belts on the line, but if Joshua beats you,
all the belts aren't on the line, right?
Yeah.
Looking at it from a business perspective, if the figure was just pulling a figure out of the sky, 100 million each fighter, if the belts aren't on the line, they won't get anywhere near that, will they?
No.
So it's not as attractive to either fighter. And one of them's going to go away with a head held high, and one's going to be, you know. So will it be worth the risk? Me personally, I don't think it's as attractive fight as what it was yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, credit to Joshua for taking the fight though, because no.
100%. He didn't need to. He could have gave it up, and Joe Joyce could have fought Usyk. But can you see Joe Joyce beating Usyk?
You said yourself the person that beats Usyk's Tyson Fury, right?
Potentially, aye.
There you go then.
Aye.
Billy, obviously it's a Sunday afternoon. You're probably watching your Sunday lunch. I'm
at work, mate.
You know what? There you go, man. You're always a grafter, mate. Just one final thoughts on your Mark McConley and Thor as well, because we've seen Thor go in there with a mindset that he's in this game, he's taking the sport serious as well. So your final thoughts on your two fighters at this moment in time.
Well, to be quite honest, just a couple of things that Thor done in the fight pleased me, but he never really got a chance to show the vast improvements that he's shown. And I found it quite funny watching Eddie Hall's comments on the fight, saying that Thor's technically inept. Stop posting your pad work, Eddie. That's what I'll say to you.
Yeah.
See, when it's comical. When Thor gets his hands on Eddie Hall, he will absolutely put him into oblivion. I mean,
it's intriguing.
It's
an intriguing fight.
It's not intriguing. It's got what it's going to be. It's going to be a mismatch, because I'll tell you why. Whilst Thor has been going to do two exhibitions with the two professional fighters and getting training properly and sparring and getting that training 14 hard weeks. Now, I'll assure you that was 14 hard weeks he had. And through no fault of his own, having to fight Devin Larratt. Eddie's done nothing. Eddie's not been in the ring. He's not experienced it. Thor has 3 times. Andy will be fighting again in December, I'm led to believe, in Dubai, possibly. And if that being the case, Thor's will then have 4 fights. But believe me, what I'm listen, you know and I know, Andy, right? See when you damage your knuckles, right? And you've no knuckles.
Yeah.
Or you rip your bicep like Eddie allegedly done. He was on the pads when he done that. The only way that happens is if you punch incorrectly. That's the only way. And he's slagging off Thor's technique. You know, I've got a wife in the house that can slap like that as well. But it's a fact. He's square on. He throws hooks. Honestly, he needs to have a look at his own work before he slaughters anybody else.
Yeah.
And you mark my words when I tell you, Thor will obliterate him. As soon as he feels that left hand, boom.
He seems to be doing all the right things, though, man, which is good to see. He seems to be taking the game serious.
Very serious. I mean, we spoke at length about what he expects for the future, and I've given my honest opinion. I said, listen, enjoy what you're doing. He's thorough. He loves what he's doing. But at that level, fighting other strong men, maybe other celebrities, no turning pro or anything like that. Because what he's doing, you know, he's loving what he's doing.
Good.
You know, super key. I knew after 2 or 3 days in Iceland that his mindset was brilliant.
Well, listen, but I won't keep you much longer. Like I say, I always appreciate your time and stuff like that, and I'll let you get back to that because I know you're a grafter, mate. You're not only a boxing coach, man, but you always give back. How about that?
100%.
Definitely, mate. Right, Billy, listen, hopefully I'll get to see you. Now I know you're home, I'll come up and see you one day at the gym. Where's Big Martin?
In 3 weeks, well, Martin's actually picking up his UK visa tomorrow morning.
Right.
Then he'll be going to Dubai for 10 nights, 11 days for his isolation, basically his isolation thing. Then he's in the UK. And Thor comes to the UK 3rd week of October for his fight in December. So he come up any time after that. But before we leave, I'd like to congratulate you and your wife. I found out when I was in Dubai that you're going to be a wee daddy, and your good lady's got a mum.
At my age as well, which is...
listen, lucky baby, got a great father and a lovely mother, so best of luck to the 2 years when the baby comes.
Thank you very much, Billy, man. You're an absolute diamond of a man. I appreciate that so much, man. Thank you, Billy.
You're welcome. Take care, mate.
Take care, mate. Until the next time. Cheers, Billy.
All the best. Cheers.